What is going on, Pats Nation? You guys already know who it is. Patriots Global here, back with another video. And in this one, I'm going to be doing something that I've done over the last couple of years that you guys seem to have really liked. And obviously, how these videos perform ultimately tells me, hey, you guys like these videos and I should keep doing them. So I'm going to do it again this year. We'll see how it goes. And that will dictate if I do this again next year. But I think this is 3 years running strong now that we've done this. And that's where I regrade the Patriots' previous draft class a year later. So I already graded the Patriots' 2022 draft class right after the conclusion of the 2022 draft. Those players have been a year under Bill Belichick's system. They've been in this franchise for 1 year now. So after seeing how they've played here in New England, I like to go back after a year and look at my grades that I previously gave them after the draft and give them a new grade based off of how they've performed now. So if you guys do like this video, make sure to give it a big thumbs up. Comment below in the comment section below your thoughts on these players. What would you give this overall grade for this draft class? And what would you give these specific grades to each of these players? Let me know in the comment section below, because we are going to have a couple of comparisons here. And just realized I almost forgot to plug in my laptop. That could have been bad. That could have been bad. So without further ado, though, let's roll into today's intro, or the usual intro, and we'll hop into today's video. So let's start off here in the first round, because in the first round, the New England Patriots made a very surprising move. Round one, they were originally, I think, 21st. They're the 21st overall pick, if I remember correctly. And they ended up picking at 29. They traded down in the first round to pick 29 overall, and they selected, and I got a little edit here for you guys. Offensive guard Cole Strange. Nobody thought this was going to be the move. Nobody liked offensive guard in the first. But if you look at the previous last couple of drafts, what the Patriots have done with that first pick, and honestly the second round pick too, but mainly that first round pick, has been going with the most depleted position on the roster. And that was guard. You look at guard last year, the Patriots had no starting left guard. Not, hey, you have James Ferentz pinned in at left guard. We didn't have a left guard on the roster. That was the most depleted position. That's where they went. They traded down. They got a couple of picks. At the time, I gave it a B-. I didn't love it, but I thought that it had potential. Cole Strange was a very athletic guard, but he wasn't someone who me and really everybody else thought should have been selected in the first round. But at the end of the day, if at least one team has a projected first round pick on a player, they're immediately a first round player. It doesn't need to be all 32 teams having a first round grade on a player to make them a first graded player or a first round talent player. And I did hear that there was another team that actually did have a first round grade on Cole Strange. So it did make sense that the Patriots did pick him at 29. And maybe they thought, hey, we're not going to be able to get him by our next pick in the second round. We don't want to trade up till 33, 34 in order to get him. Let's just select him where we are. And ultimately, that's what they did. I gave it a B- at the time. What I'm going to give this now is a B-. I'm going to give it the exact same grade. And I'm actually pretty confident in the grades that I gave this class. A couple of them are going to be the same. A good amount of them are a little bit changed, but for the most part, I'm very confident in the grades that at the end of the day, I gave this class. I think that Cole Strange still has potential. It makes a lot of sense that the Patriots drafted him because they were switching to a Kyle Shanahan 49ers, Rams, Sean McVay type of offense last year that didn't last very long. And Cole Strange was the only offensive lineman really that fit the bill to be able to run a Shanahan type of offense, a West Coast type of offense. I still think that despite they're not doing that anymore, he's still going to be good for the Patriots. I think that he struggled early on. I think year two, he's going to be a lot better for the Patriots. Cole Strange said himself, he struggled. He struggled early on. He struggled earlier on in the season. That first game against the Jets was really bad when he went against Quinnen Williams. But then that second game against the Jets, he was able to take what he learned the first time and play a lot better, and was probably his best pass blocking game the entire year, that second game against the Jets. I think he got better throughout the year, but obviously got benched at times at left guard because of poor play, was kind of coming in and out of that rotation. And for a guy who's a first round pick and interior offensive lineman, I expected him to be better. I can't give it a B plus. I can't give it an A. There's nothing there that tells me. I think he struggled a good amount in year one, but it's because of what he showed me at the end of the 2022 season that I say, you know what? I'm not worried. I think he's going to be good. I think he's going to be better this upcoming season. And one of the big things about Cole Strange is that I look at what was around him. Continuity along the offensive line is, to me, more important than overall talent. And I think we've seen that. We saw it in 2021 when Mike Onwenu didn't play multiple games, and Ted Karras was filled in for him because it helped the overall continuity along the offensive line rather than just the overall talent. And you look at what Cole Strange had. Next to him at left tackle, you had Isaiah Wynn, you had Trent Brown, you had several guys coming in and out. On his right side at center, David Andrews was dealing with some injuries, so James Ferentz had to be in and out of there at some time. So on both of his sides as a rookie, he had different guys coming in and out, which, again, is really tough because continuity is so important along the offensive line. So I think he's going to be better, but I can't give it a better grade than a B minus because there's really nothing there that showed me it, but I do still think he's going to be good. So let's move on here to the next pick, because in round 2, pick 18th in the second round, this is the 50th overall pick, the New England Patriots make another selection here, drafting wide receiver Taekwon Thornton. Man, was this a surprise. Bill Belichick rarely drafts receivers. Belichick rarely drafts receivers high. And I'm talking about like in the top 100, let alone 50th overall. The only time Belichick's drafted a wide receiver in the first round was N'Keal Harry. And we saw how that panned out. So to me, it's very surprising that the Patriots actually went wide receiver high. This was very shocking to me. And they traded up. I think it's a little bit gassed up where they traded up because they didn't trade up much, right? They only traded up a few spots, and it was ultimately to beat the Steelers because they felt that the Steelers were going to want to draft a receiver, which made a lot of sense that they did probably want to draft a receiver. And Taekwon Thornton was that speedster. He was the guy that, speed kills at the end of the day, and the Patriots wanted that on their team. Nelson Aguilar was in contract year. They knew they were going to be moving on from him, and they wanted him. So what do? They trade up a couple of spots, and they select him. At the time, I gave this a B. I'm actually going to stick with that. Strangely enough, I'm going to stick with the B grade that I gave. I could be a little bit more harsh and give this one a B minus also. Taekwon Thornton did not have a great year. Okay. I think there were a lot of times Taekwon Thornton was open, but I think that there were a lot of issues between him and Mac Jones. I think there were issues with Taekwon Thornton and understanding the Patriots offense. I think that a lot of people blame Mac Jones for issues that were on Taekwon Thornton. And I think that's the difference between people who know football and people who just know football based off of what they're just looking at when they watch their TV. A lot of times, Taekwon Thornton and Mac Jones were not on the same place. A lot of times, Mac Jones was throwing the ball in one place to specifically put it where a defender couldn't go. Again, Taekwon Thornton wasn't able to make those adjustments. So I do think it all comes down to chemistry, but at the same time, too, unfortunately for Taekwon Thornton, he dealt with injuries, and he dealt with injuries right at the end of preseason after having a great training camp, good start to the preseason, gets injured, and we don't see him till a few weeks into the regular season, and I do think that hindered him. Why? Because also when he came back, who was his quarterback? It wasn't Mac Jones, it was Bailey Zappy. So now you have Taekwon Thornton out for a few weeks, missing the practice that is so desperately needed to get him and Mac Jones on the same playing field. And when he finally returns, Mac Jones is now dealing with an injury, and they're not able to continue that repertoire that they had. So I do think with an offseason and in year two, those guys will be able to be better. I do think to do that, Taekwon Thornton is going to be more utilized this year. The Patriots don't have a speedster. Nelson Aguilar is officially out. Your speedster now is Taekwon Thornton. He's going to be the guy to play on the outside, stretch the offense here, and make a defense respect the Patriots over the top. I think he's going to be a very big piece in that. It's just going to be getting him and Mac Jones on the same playing field at the end of the day. I'm not going to degrade him because of injuries, which was a big part, like I said. But I do think that he showed promise. One of the biggest issues that he does need to add weight, and he's doing that this offseason. From what I'm hearing, he's gained a lot of muscle mass. I'm hearing like potentially 19 pounds worth of muscle. And if that's the case, I think he's going to be even better. And as long as he can get on that same page as Mac Jones, I think that it's going to be a good connection overall. My concern is always that the Patriots can't develop receivers. They've never been able to develop receivers. That's why I'm never high on them drafting guys high, because they've never been able to prove that they can develop these guys. So at that point, I'd rather go another direction or just trade for a wide receiver, a proven NFL wide receiver at this point. But I do like Thornton. I do think there's promise there. He's such a smart guy. He just needs to be a little bit more comfortable in the Patriots playbook and just needs to get on that same page as Mac. So again, I'm very confident with the B grade that I have on him. Moving on here to the next pick here in the third round, 21st in the third round, 85th overall, the New England Patriots make another selection. This time, they draft cornerback. They go defensive back Marcus Jones, my favorite pick in this entire class. I loved this pick at the time, and I love this pick even more now. I questioned where exactly he was going to play. I questioned his height at 5'8", 5'9" as a defensive back in the NFL. I gave it an A- at the time. I really liked it, and I'm going to give it an A+ now. This has such potential in every phase of the game. That first game against Buffalo, scores an offensive touchdown. He's the reason we got on the board. He's the only reason we got on the board that game. He has an offensive touchdown last year. He had a couple of picks, one of which was a pick 6 against Joe Burrow. He had a punt return, a game-winning walk-off punt return against the Jets. He is the first player since Deion Sanders in one season to have a special teams return, a defensive touchdown, and an offensive touchdown in the same season. And Deion Sanders is an easy Hall of Famer, one of the best to ever do it. Am I saying he's going to be Deion Sanders? No, but I think there's so much potential. He was a guy that was able to lock down Davante Adams when he got opportunities against him against the Raiders. Despite him being small, he's looked very, very good. He's our slot guy. He brings a lot of speed to the slot also. I hope that with Jonathan Jones back, they don't negate Marcus Jones here on defense in any way, shape, or form. What he's able to do on special teams is so deadly. Obviously, you can package him on offense from time to time. I wouldn't do it too much. He said he's a defensive back. He wants to play defense. I'm hoping that we see him play more defense this upcoming season because, again, I think he's a ball hawk, but he's a guy that is also going to be able to shut these guys down with his speed and his coverage ability. Again, to go up against a guy like Davante Adams, who's one of the best in the league, and for that height advantage that Davante Adams has too, and for Marcus to play as well as he did and shut him down as well as he did. I don't have the exact statistics, but shut him down was beyond impressive. And I think that this is going to be a great pick for the Patriots for the next several years. But moving on here to Jack Jones. Now in the fourth round, pick 16th in the fourth round, 121 overall. Got that edit here for you guys. New England goes cornerback again. They go back-to-back corner in a year that they really needed corners. J.C. Jackson left to go to the Chargers. They needed help, and they went back-to-back corners there. Jack Jones, I was tough on this one, okay? I mocked Jack Jones to the Patriots last year during this time, but I mocked him later. I think I mocked him somewhere between the 5th to 6th round. There were a lot of question marks to me on Jack Jones' ability in coverage. To me, it was a very big concern. That was some of his biggest concerns on his draft profile too, was he was very inconsistent in coverage, has character issues. But his comp to me was JC Jackson. Like, he's a ball hawk. If he pans out, his ceiling was going to be JC Jackson. And ironically, the Patriots had just lost JC Jackson. But the Patriots, I think, reached at this pick, and I was harsh on it. I'm not going to lie. I was very, very harsh. I give this one a D. I gave this one a D. I'm going to give this one now a B plus. This is a massive, massive upgrade from what I originally gave him. I'm not going to give this an A minus, an A, or an A plus. I think that's doing too much. Jack Jones showed ability, and he showed ability early on. When we had guys like Jalen Mills, when we had guys like Jonathan Jones going down, and Jack Jones had to step up and become our CB2 for a couple of games there, I believe against the Packers and the Lions and maybe even the Browns, he was asked to be about our CB2 and play more significant snaps, and he looked really good. He had a couple of picks. One of those picks, excuse me, was a pick six against Aaron Rodgers, a veteran quarterback, one of the best to ever do it. And then a few games into his NFL career, Jack Jones was able to get a pick six off of him. I think that is a big deal. I thought he looked really good in coverage. I do think that he has inconsistencies at tackling. I think as an outside cornerback and tackling, that was one of his biggest issues. I saw that he got lost a lot of times in run stopping duties. That's one of my biggest things too. I think that he had some inconsistencies at time in coverage, but again, he's a rookie. Now, unfortunately, when these veterans were able to come back, Jack Jones got pushed again down the depth chart, and on a week-to-week basis, his snap counts dropped. Obviously, another big issue that happened was that Patriots placed him on IR. Then there were issues supposedly with him attending his rehab meetings and not showing up or showing up late or whatever. He gets suspended. Is that going to be an issue or not? We knew about these character issues off the field when he was drafted. Not even a year into us drafting him, supposedly these character issues are becoming a thing, and he gets suspended. Hopefully he learns his lesson and it's not going to become a thing. I think that we still need to see what he has. Okay. I'm not going to give it an A plus and say that he's our next CB1. He's our next generation because he hasn't shown me that. Okay. I think he should be CB3 for the Patriots with some snaps at CB2, but he should not be plugged in at CB1 for the Patriots. But 100% he should get more snaps and more chances this upcoming season because when he was given the ability to do it last year, he was making plays, and the Patriots need to make more plays on defense to get that ball back to Mac Jones and give this offense some more chances to put points up on the board. Now, next up here, another fourth round pick, the New England Patriots in the fourth round, 127th overall, make another selection by going offense this time. New England Patriots in the fourth round for another year, I believe, third or fourth straight year in the fourth round, go running back Pierre Strong. Now, Pierre Strong, I gave this one an A minus. I really liked this move. This is the fastest running back the Patriots have drafted in recent memory. I'm talking about faster than Ramondre, faster than Damian, faster than Sony, faster than Shane Vereen, faster than LeGarrette Blount. I did my research trying to figure out, is this the fastest running back that we've had in a long time? And it is. I kept going back years and years and couldn't find a guy that had the speed that Pierre Strong did. And because of that, I thought it had a real ability. We're used to having guys who are wrecking balls, are power backs, but we finally brought in a different type of running back who is elusive and fast, that when you're able to give him blocks, which I was very confident in our offensive line to do last year, but they really didn't do that well. If you can give him blocks to get him into space, he's out. He's off to the races. He's going to get in front of defensive backs and not just have to run through them. With Ramondre Stevenson, with Damian Harris, those are guys where, yeah, you might see like a 40-yard run or a 25-yard run or a 30-yard run from time to time. With Pierre Strong, he could easily have an 80-yard rushing touchdown if you block that upright because of his speed. And that's something to me that was so exciting that we added a different dynamic piece to our backfield, and that's the center around the Patriots offense. That's their identity, is their run game. So I was really excited about this. I thought it had true potential. I didn't think they really needed to redshirt him, but they kind of did. Due to injuries, we did see some potential from Pierre Strong, more specifically against the Cardinals. But outside of that, we really didn't see much of him. The Patriots gave more of those opportunities to Kevin Harris. And what that tells me is maybe they're just looking to redshirt him and give him that Shane Vereen, James White role next year. But I have to bump this one down. I'm going to give this one a B right now, just because he looked good on special teams at times, but did have some areas where he had some penalty issues on special teams when playing. Didn't get to see a lot from him, but when we did, I thought that there was a lot of potential. But now we're also hearing that the Patriots might be looking into a blue chip running back in this year's draft. If they draft another guy high, the kind of question turns into, where does Pierre Strong come in? So I'm going to bump this one from an A- to a B, but I do still ultimately like it. Now, moving on here to another fourth round pick here, the Patriots, with the 137th pick, make a very, very surprising move to me. Just a year after drafting Mac Jones, the New England Patriots in the fourth round decided to go with quarterback Bailey Zappy. Now, I actually like Bailey Zappy at this time. I didn't know much about him, but after doing my due diligence and my research on him after the Patriots had selected him, I thought that this was a like mid-risk, high reward type of situation where you're drafting him pretty high, and this dude's either going to be like a seventh round looking bust, or he's going to come out with such potential. The amount of yards this dude was putting up in college, the touchdown to interception ratio, this dude looked like a baller. My question mark was, well, you have Mac Jones, right? Why are we going another quarterback so early? We had Brian Hoyer, who was obviously going to back him up. I didn't really understand it all too much, but I did like the player, and there was always potential there. So I gave it a B minus. I'm going to give this now a B plus. I think that Bailey Zappy showed a lot of potential. I think that he's very poised, not even on the field, but off the field, is such a good player. And even recently said that, he's going to do whatever he's asked, and he's going to take advantage of any opportunity that's given to him. I'm sure he, is chill with Mac in the quarterback room or whatnot, but it doesn't sound like Bailey Zappi's looking to sit back and say, hey, Mac, this is your team. Bailey Zappy is going to take full advantage of any opportunity he was given, and I think he did that also last year. Now, I will say he did play our two easiest games of the year, finishing against the Packers, who didn't have a great defense that year, starting against the Bears, or not the Bears, but the Browns and the Lions, two of our easiest opponents that year. Again, I think he was hyped up a little too much, because then you put him into the game against the Bears and he flops. So I do think that there are still questions around Bailey Zappy, but I do like the potential. I thought that his pocket awareness and his ability to extend plays by going out wide and escaping pressure was really, really, really impressive to me. I think that there is still potential with Bailey Zappy, and the question marks about Mac Jones and Bailey Zappy being out there could potentially bring upon a quarterback competition. I still believe in Mac. I'm still going to roll with Mac, but I do still think that Bailey Zappy showed something, and there's value to him at this point. So B plus, I like what I saw from him. Now, moving on here to the sixth round, Patriots did not have a pick in the fifth round. The New England Patriots go, surprisingly, with another running back. Now, high in the sixth round here, this was only the fourth pick in the sixth round, 183rd overall, the New England Patriots went with running back Kevin Harris. Now, at the time, didn't love it. Again, I was like, why are we going another running back in this draft? We just took one high. We got Damian. We got JJ. We have Ramondre. What are we doing? But you know what? Last year proved exactly why they went multiple running backs, because they value running backs high. Again, it's centered around their offense with a running game, not a pass first offense. We don't have that. We should, but we don't. And we had so many injuries that Kevin Harris and Pierre Strong were your starting running backs against the Cardinals. That is why you need multiple running backs. Even early on, the Patriots had to promote J.J. Taylor multiple times. And I think at one point he even made the 53-man roster because the Patriots were dealing with so many injuries. I'm going to go from a C plus here to a B minus. I actually like what I saw from Kevin Harris. I think that, it's the sixth round. You don't have a lot tied on these guys, and he did show some promise. His ability to bounce outside, I actually liked. Now, I thought that he was very comparable to Damian Harris, who obviously ended up leaving the Patriots. And at this time, I said, well, I think we could get Damian back, but if we don't get Damian back, Kevin Harris could easily take over that power role for Damian. And I think that's really cool that the Patriots also went a elusive back early on for a different dynamic piece to our backfield, but then also looked toward the future and said, well, if Damian leaves, we have another power back that we could plug in behind Ramondre. I don't think that Kevin Harris is a lock in any way, shape, or form to make this roster, especially after they signed James Robinson. I think that proves it even more that they're not sold on him. I thought that Kevin Harris showed some promise, but then also showed some question marks. I didn't think he was great in blitz pickup. Needs to work on that. And I think that also he needs to learn to just put his shoulder down and pick up those tough yardage. I didn't see his ability like Damian to be able to just put that shoulder down, carry some guys with you, and get those tough yards. So kind of a little bit of inconsistency to the game. I want to see some better play from him. But again, C plus to a B minus as a 6th round pick. Can't really go wrong with it. Now, next up here in the 6th round, the Patriots go defense because with pick 100, or excuse me, pick 200 overall, the New England Patriots go with defensive tackle Sam Roberts. Now, I really liked this at the time. I thought, again, in the 6th round, 7th round, you're just banking on trying to get a diamond in the rough, and I thought that they found that. Sam Roberts was a guy that I thought could be a good run stopper and also apply some decent pressure within the interior of the defensive line. The only other guy they had to do that was really Christian Barmore. Daniel Ekuale is a guy that I liked there too, but we didn't really know too much of Daniel Ekuale at that time, and he was also serving a suspension to start the season. Not to mention that Sam Roberts is a genius. He's a genie out of a bottle when it comes to batting passes down or batting field goals down there at the line. I got to give this one a C now. We didn't see anything of this guy. We didn't see anything of him in the preseason. We saw nothing of him in training camp, all off season, nothing in the regular season. This dude was basically a ghost. We saw nothing of him. Maybe he can take that year 2 leap. I just thought there was a lot of potential there for him to do at least something, and we heard absolutely nothing about this guy. So I do still like the potential. We'll see if he can make that year 2 leap here. But I have to give this one a C. Now, moving on here to the next pick, another 6th round pick. The New England Patriots here are going offensive line in the 6th round, 210th overall. The New England Patriots select center Chasen Hines. I gave this one a B at the time. I'm going to give this one a B still. I thought that there was a lot of potential with Chasen Hines, a guy out of LSU, a high college. The Patriots like taking offensive linemen who have played against real competition. He fit that mold. He fit that bill. He had a pretty good offseason. We didn't hear a lot from him. He was dealing with some injuries, but we did get to see him a little bit in the preseason, a little bit in the regular season. Not a whole lot, though, because like I said, was dealing with injuries, and I thought he showed some promise there. The Patriots do need depth at guard, and I think they need it more than people realize. We got to re-sign James Ferentz, but your center David Andrews deals with a lot of injuries. Mike Onwenu is in contract year at this point. You need still depth behind those guys. You have Cole Strange, who you're not still exactly sold on. So we need depth. I think that he brings it. He shows potential, and I'm actually really, really excited to see Chasen Hines in his 2nd year because I think he showed potential since joining New England. He showed potential in college at LSU. I mean, in the 6th round again, you're just banking on trying to find at least a rotational piece. So Chasen Hines, still a guy I like. Now, moving on to the final pick for the Patriots. In the 7th round, they go offensive tackle with the 245th pick. They select offensive tackle Andrew Stuber. Now, originally, I gave this one a B. Right now, I'm going to give this a B minus. I'm not going to drop it too much. It's really hard with someone like Andrew Stuber and even somebody like Chasen Hines. Like, I thought about giving them just kind of like NAs because we didn't really see much of them, especially here with Andrew Stuber. We didn't see anything of him. We didn't see him in training camp or off-season programs or preseason or regular season because he was dealing with injuries. I think that's why they got him where they did. It was because he was dealing with injuries, and we knew that this was more of a long-term type of potential. I think that though he's a big body with so much potential on the right side, I believe it is the right side he plays, if I remember correctly, Patriots still need help at offensive tackle, even a year later. The question is, can he beat these guys out? Because you have somebody like Riley Reiff, who's a proven veteran in the NFL. You have somebody like Calvin Anderson, who signed to a 2-year deal, who is a depth slash swing tackle who can start for you in maybe a couple of games if needed, but he's not a full-time starter. You have Yannick Kajust, who's still trying to fight for a roster spot too. I think that Andrew Stewart has the potential to come in and take the job away from somebody, but he has to come in, has to be healthy, and has to get the ball rolling. Hasn't played football in a while, so I think there's some concern there. Like I said, though, 7th round, you don't have a lot banking on him, but I thought there was a lot of potential at the time drafting him. I'm just going to bump it down now a little bit, though, because I do think that there are a lot more bodies at this point and veteran bodies than there were a year ago. So it's going to be a little bit hard for him to beat these guys out. But the Patriots have him on that rookie contract still. If he can prove himself better than some of these other guys, like whether it's Calvin Anderson or Riley Reiff or Yannick Kajus, he could push one of those guys out the door because he at least has that he's young and on that cheap rookie deal versus some of these other guys. So these are going to be my overall picks for the Patriots 2022 class a year later. What are your guys' thoughts on this class? Let me know in the comment section below. Remember to leave a big like on this video, and of course, subscribe to the channel for all of your New England Patriots news. Have a lot of draft content dropping here for you guys within the next few weeks leading up to the draft, so you guys don't want to miss out on all of that. So subscribe, hit that bell notification so you get notified for all my videos. But without further ado, I will see you guys in the next one, and go Pats.